Take it away, RB.
All right, that little light goes on, so that must mean we're live. So, howdy everyone. It is Crow's Nest No Quarter. This one is episode 43, and it's called Vengeful. So obviously we'll be talking about the raid and all that sort of stuff that's going on. So we'll say good day to everyone, just as it's going across my screen. So, and the link is in the YouTube chat as well if you'd like to join us. We've got a couple of spots still open. So howdy Toxic.
G'day everyone, how are we doing?
And g'day Cuttlefish.
Hello everyone. Hope the raid is going well for you.
Nice. Simba Dakota.
Hello.
We've got Shane Howe.
Hello peoples.
And Ross Crow.
Good evening.
On my screen, it's me. So, hi, I'm RB. And one left.
Who's that?
You.
Who's me?
Damnation.
That's me.
Very good. So, I guess we'll talk about the raid first. So, how's everybody's raid going so far?
I feel bad by saying mine's going good.
Mine's going really good.
I've managed to get everything I need to. I'm just about to get the flagship, so I'm going to get everything I want out of this grind fest of a raid.
I'm slow going on the 80s, so for me it's a grind fest as well, but I spent a little points and it's gotten a little less nerve-wracking, put it that way.
Toxic?
Well, hang on. Would you care to explain how you spent some points and it got less nerve-wracking?
Well, I did the swap to the new weapon on the Hydra fleet is what I did. So I can take out the targets more efficiently. Instead of a 12, 13-minute battle, it's less than a 5-minute battle on the 80s now. And my damage, since I'm not in the target for so long, the damage is greatly reduced. So the points still suck. 2.2 a set still sucks, but running the targets isn't as cumbersome as it was.
Well, I've been grinding the 60s.
Oh,
so
that's even worse.
At 550,000 a set, that 2.2 million looks really good.
Yeah, I was going to come back to what targets people are hitting and all that sort of thing. So it's good that we've gone into that. So
no, as I said, I've been grinding the 60s. I just watched something on the television and auto it. I'm using 4 full eradicators to do that, which is kind of a morale breaker, but I'll get through this raid.
And are they armored?
Oh yes, 4, 3 folded plates and 1 radioactive limited on 2 of them, and 4 folded armor plates on the other 2. So they're fully armored. They're fully complete.
Mm-hmm.
I can do higher targets, like I can do the 80s and I can do 100s and 102s, though that is with an amazing chunk of damage for the 100s and 102s. I just find it easier to catch up on my Netflix and just auto targets. With running 4 eradicators on a straight auto, I don't seem to have the problem of getting hung up on the 63s the way that a lot of people do. I think it's just because I've got 4 ships and one of them happens to slide onto the side to be able to hit that uranium pool that stops everybody in the 63s.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, totally unrelated to Battle Pirates, what are you binge watching on Netflix while you're doing it?
I'm catching up on my Game of Thrones.
There you go. Gotta get ready for the new season starting soon.
That's right.
That's what we call getting our priorities right.
No, game keeps going the way it is. Watching Game of Thrones may be my priority. He'll turn into the next Crow's Nest show, and you'll just see my webcam pointed to my TV watching Game of Thrones.
Who's dying this week? Anyway, never mind.
Better not be Arya. Better not be Arya.
Well, you know, no spoilers.
Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
I learned that early on. Nobody's safe. Anyway, never mind. Ross, you showed us some interesting pictures before from the app. So, what targets are you getting stuck in?
I'm glad you clarified that by saying the interesting pictures he showed us were from the app.
Yes.
Yes. No, yeah, I'm a HQ app player because in all honesty, I've resulted to the HQ app and the BP because of the it's just the playability, in my opinion, of the game on a PC is not worth playing. At least on my end. I don't have comms. I'm not able to talk to my own alliance. I'm not able to scroll the screen. It's not really a game. So I go to the HQ app because that's still a game, and it works out pretty good usually on the HQ app. But you can't. I've been doing the 60s because I have the eradicators, fully skulled, fully armored, but I only have 3, and so I'm hitting the 60s, and I can't seem to be complete sets because the game's broken and won't let me finish a 63. So I'm pretty, this is the 3rd event in a row now that I'm still here. I'm still struggling away. Matter of fact, I'm still hitting targets from the, and so 3rd event in a row, the game has left me is how I'm sitting here. I'm pretty pissed, actually.
Yeah, so it's interesting because that's why I specifically asked that question after Cuddle said about getting stuck in the 63. So that seems to be the target that's the problem, I guess.
Yeah, they altered the other targets. The 80s, they removed mountains for pathing, but they just won't do it in the 63.
I know that that's not the only target that's happening in. Just from I'm not autoing, but I'm driving, and I can see when I'm driving how in some of the 100s, my fleet is trying to shoot through the mountains at certain points to get the turrets behind the mountains.
Yeah,
it definitely seems to be a problem with targeting. That's trying to target things that aren't a valid target. That definitely seems to be the issue in certain scenarios. Which, I mean, when I saw that was a problem, I suggested they should have turned the targets off in the app anyway, but,
Interesting. Now, and Simba, you're doing particularly well as always. So what targets are you hitting and what are you hitting with and how are you doing it, etc.?
All right, I've got a full fleet of eradicators done. Not all of them are skulled, and I'm hitting the 100 sets.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I know for me, I started off with my Hydras that I'd refit, and I kind of feel that I made the choice, and I probably should have waited to see the targets because I probably could have refit them a bit better. But anyway, that is what it is. I made the choice, and I was hitting 60s, and it's pretty unimpressed. And then when I kept on hearing that they were lowering the damage and stuff, I went on to the 80s. But now I'm just hitting the 102 with my lead eradicator, and that's much more effective because it was depressing getting such a low score. It just wasn't adding up quick enough for my liking. So, but I'm reasonably happy with where I am at the moment, and time and coins spent and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I might.
Well, I stopped doing for myself at 150.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And we haven't heard from Toxic yet. I'm not sure if his microphone's working because we broke his
it's
TV
working.
earlier.
It's
Cool.
working. Good old Toxic has got 3 eradicators in the flagship. None of them. The flagship's not finished. Only got a couple of guns on it. The other ones aren't fully ranked neither. None of them are fully armored. They've got like I think one has got one folded on, and the rest all 1Cs. And I can't do the 100s. So the eradicators are out. I've got a Hydra fleet, an old Hydra fleet, and I've only just refitted it yesterday with the Siege CICs. No, yeah.
Yeah, Siege. Yeah.
And,
sorry, Aegis ones.
Aegis, sorry, yeah, Aegis, the Aegis one. And I can do an 81 for 1 hour and I think 38 minutes repair. And I thought, well, that's a lot. So I overnight I put a couple of the new or the better launchers on the flagship, which was a total defensive hull. And I've tried an 83 this morning for 1 hour and 57 minutes repair. So the conclusion I drew out of that was fuck you, Kicks.
Now,
I'm not grinding.
Was
Sorry?
that 1 hour and 57 repair across the whole fleet or just the flag?
No, the whole fleet.
Okay, because that's the one thing about with Hydras. It really doesn't matter how much damage the whole fleet takes. It really only matters how much damage the flag takes. Because as long as you keep the flag up and running, it's going to heal the rest of the fleet and keep it at that 75% mark.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, you got to season Hydras and Buccaneers in a target first to get them all at to get all the regular ones at 75 before you can get a clean count on damage.
Yeah, but it's still, there is no way that I'm spending, even if it costs half the coins, that I'm not going to spend 4 coins on 2 million points. That's no way.
Well, I know I'm right now. I'm doing when I do the Hydras in the 80s. I'm doing both of them for like 19 minutes repair on the flag with no crew at all.
Yeah, no, that's no way that I can do that.
Well, what was I getting a little bit ago? Like 2 to 4 minutes each target.
Yeah.
I don't have the points to do the put the new launchers on.
I didn't put the new launchers on mine either. I'm using the exact same Hydra build that I used the last raid cycle. The only thing that I changed my flag from being a countermeasure hull to an offensive hull. That's the only thing I changed. They still have charged armors on them and everything.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, mine it's got one weapon on it, and that's it. The flag. So yeah, it's not and I'm not grinding 60s or 40s or God knows what. There's just no way. So yeah, no raid for me. Keep your prizes, Kicks.
Well, as a positive note there is nothing critical in this raid that will help you in the next raid cycle if you already have eradicators in the flag, which I know you do. And there's no technology in here which is critical, which will help you for your FM or any chores or anything like that. So
yeah, it's just
if you have to miss one, it's a pretty good one to miss.
Yeah, I'm a level 123. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the ants pants of battle pirates, but I've never had to or couldn't do a raid, never. So yeah, if they want to keep doing that, well, they keep their game too.
Right here.
I'll play as long as I can still my hit a base or whatnot. If I can't do that anymore, well, then I'll just give it away. Play guitar costs a lot less money.
Hey, I'm right with you, brother. And we're not the ones that left. We haven't quit. We're the dedicated pirates over the last 8 going on at 8 years. We're the loyal ones, and so we're still here, in my opinion. And I'm still here, in my opinion. They've left us, so that's what I have. I agree with you, brother.
And the other thing I just wanted to say, I saw the coin offers Well, I've seemed to have been excluded in that as well, because there's no $10 coin offers. I ain't paying $50 for coins or whatever it costs here in Australia, 75 or whatever it is for 500 coins. Where are the $10 offers or the whatever it
The
was?
$5 offers.
Or that, yeah. Where are
$5
they?
for 70 coins.
So you obviously don't want my money. So again, fuck you, Kicks. And I don't normally swear, but this just really pisses me off.
Oh, yes, you do.
Not on Hangout, not on the live Hangouts.
Okay, but that I'll agree with. So you swear on the private one all the time.
Yeah. I am
actually, I want to pause just for a second before we finish talking about how people are doing in the raid exactly and what they're hitting. I want to pause for a minute and talk about. So apparently, there's a cock up right now, and the 2750 coin deal that's on Kixeye and Facebook for $200. Apparently, there's a big mess up on Congregate, and it's on there for $20. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. That sounds like a Congregate screw up. But yeah, so I can just imagine anybody who plays through Congregate right now is like loving life because they're like, oh, I can get a whole bunch of coins for $20.
That would have definitely pried open my wallet. That's for sure. Because 2,750 coins, yeah, that would last me all year. And for $20, yeah, check. Of course, I'd buy $40 and go crazy, but
the unfortunate part is you can't like open your main Facebook account through Congregate, so you would have to have a whole different account that was dedicated to Congregate in order to take advantage of that mess up.
Yeah, so if you had an alt or something through Congregate, you could benefit there. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how that fleshes out because it's.
Yeah, but I mean that just kind of to me shows anyway how little Kix monitors what's going on their game on other platforms.
Yeah, and at this stage, if they even really care, because I guess there's probably a fairly small percentage that pay on Congregate, but I don't know because I don't have an account. So interesting. So one thing I was going to ask you, Toxic, is what charged armor do you have on your Hydras?
It's either 3 ballistics and 1 radioactive, or 3 radioactive and 1 ballistic. Whatever the going was when we had the last raid.
I say odds are he copied off of me, so it'd be 3 ballistics and 1 radioactive.
Most
yeah,
likely.
Because I find that's the difference with my Hydra fleet compared to Damnation's fleet, because he's got 2 and 2, and
No,
I had
No, I do not.
Oh, don't you? I thought you did.
No, I have just the same you guys do. I have 3 ballistics and 1 radioactive.
Okay.
It's all about your driving and how you approach the target. You're not going to get the pattern right for the optimal minimal damage on your first try or two. It's going to take you a couple times to figure out the pattern.
Yeah, well, it's 3 ballistics and 1 radioactive, and the Blood Hydra has got 1 radioactive, 1 ballistic, and I can't too far away. Must squint. Hang on. It's a charged Synthionite armor C1 CR by 2.
Okay.
That's what's on the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to get what I want, I can hit 4 targets. I mean, it took me, I think, 10 minutes or so to finish the target. That'll give me 3 sets per hour, and to what I want, that I wouldn't even have enough crews to play all that. So it's it's just a disgruntled customer.
Yeah. Have you tried just doing the flag eradicator in the 80s?
My flag eradicator's only got 2 weapons and 1 plate of D1C armor or whatever it is on it. So no.
Okay. All right,
gonna
scratch that.
Yeah.
Because I know I was. Go on.
It's just the way it is. I mean, I can. I thought it might have been difficult, and I was prepared to spend a couple of coins extra, but not to the extent that Dave put it to, where they basically. I mean, like I said, I've got a bit of pride, and I ain't gonna grind. There's no way. I've got better things to do. I'd rather go sit in a dunny with diarrhea and poke hot needles in me. I don't grind. So, you know, it's just not going to happen. If they want to do that, then yeah, the game is just not for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'll still play, but there'll be no money. I won't be spending any money. You know, that's just that.
Okay, because I know I was surprised when I did try the hundreds, or sorry, the 102 to be specific, because I do take a lot more damage in the 100. That I've only got 2 plates of the folded ferrite on, and I can do them quite comfortably. So I was surprised when I tried it out, and that's obviously with a demo squad to give the extra protection and building damage. So
You're welcome.
yes, I know, but I had to be brave enough to try it for myself first. But that made a big difference, because at least then I could get some points.
Had I coined my my lead, you know, put some armors on it and finished the specials off and put some weapons on it and whatnot, I could probably have done the same thing. But I'm not spending that much money on something that they just didn't think out right, you know. I mean, fair enough. Anyone who spends the money, that's up to them, you know. I'm not angry with them, with anyone who spends, you know, $1,000 to $2,000 on this game on a raid. That's just the way they play, and I can understand that. But I won't, and that's just that.
See,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of different perspective, because, you know, I'm doing just using my flagship. It's completely built, completely armored. I did not spend a dime on it, and I have 3 mostly done eradicators that I park in the corner. At this point, I think I've spent maybe 30 coins on the raid, and I'm at 141 million points. In a way, I kind of feel bad that the raid is going for me, knowing how bad it's going for other people. But part of my choice that I made is, without even having seen the stats of the flag, I just looked at the trend that they had on the Razortail flag and the Bat Ray flag, how they were so much more powerful than what the regular boats were. And I thought, well, I have 5 one-day just generic siege build tokens that I've been sitting on for a year. I'm going to save these for the flag. I'm going to try to get the flag fully done, completely out, and hopefully maybe be able to do something with that. And I got lucky. So, you know, I throw on a demo squad. I mean, everybody's seen how I do it if they watch the stream or the show on Thursday. You know, I throw the demo squad on. I go and I do the entire target with just the flag, and then I go back in the base, repair with a grease monkey for 1 coin, and then go on to the next one.
Yeah, and it is, I think that comes down to a lot of it is the choices that you made and
the tokens you had.
Yes, yeah.
Because I've spent every token available, and I have a horrible fleet. And I've spent every token out of the weekly that I've been awarded. I haven't spent it on anything PvP. I've been turned into a PvE player, and I have a horrible fleet. Now, I don't happen to have a Hydra fleet. I have some tokens. I tried to do the math, and I really am close to probably building half a fleet at this point. And I could rank half that fleet, but that's still in the same boat I am. I have a Buccaneer fleet, but that doesn't do me any good also. So I didn't have the siege tokens to do this. So I did the best I could, in all honesty. I went ahead and chugged on through with and finished off the 3, and I'm working on finishing off the 4th that I can, and they're garbage. By design, the way it is that with that lead and the boost of the 5 ships and that whole by design thing, it's garbage. So I'm bummed.
Well, see, had you known that, and had I known that, I would have not spent any of my tokens on the eradicators. I would have kept it all for the lead.
Yeah.
But how How do you know? It's hindsight, isn't it? And it's always
You don't know.
always,
You just don't know. I would have never built the fleet. I would have just built the Hydras because I had so many great tokens for those. And in all honesty, I would have built what I had tokens for. I mean, that would have made sense. So I would have built the Hydras. They outperform, and I think it's a better hull than the Eradicator in just in defenses. When you get the whole buffs from the fleet, I think the Hydra is a better fleet. Now, I don't have either, so I'm trying, and I'm hitting 61s. I can't from an app, and I'm not getting any bonus or anything, and it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Sounds like a broke game to me. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm trying. If that's the case, and I have Eradicators, top of the line, and I'm only able to hit 61s from an app that's working, something's not on my end that sounds broke up to there. I mean, sounds okay on my end.
See, I gambled when it came to my Eradicator fleet. I decided not to build my flagship until the raid began and to spend all my time and tokens pouring armor and finishing out my 4 Eradicators. As for the last bunch of raids for several years, I've gone into the first raid with 4 ships, 4 finished ships, and I've done fine. However, in this raid, me not having that flagship, even just sitting in the corner naked, is severely hurting my ability to go into higher level targets. And not having it complete is definitely hurting me.
Yeah, definitely. Because normally, for, however many raids going backwards, you could do okay with, it would take you longer seat time, but you could manage quite easily with four ships. But now, because we've got all these buffs, it does make it a lot harder. And it's an interesting, it's not the word to choose, but it's certainly showing that a lot of players were not prepared, as we said all along, and that's certainly what's fleshing out, and just makes people unhappy and frustrated with what they do have. So
I tell you, the one I think the thing I've seen that really rubbed me the wrong way and frustrated me the most was the fact that they came out with all these tips and tricks on from design on how to now build your fleet. Well, where was all this information like 3 fucking weeks ago?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I've got that ready to show to you, because I was going to ask if that's made any difference for anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say that was good in lead-in, and that I didn't even know was coming.
I do try to have a few things prepared. So, yeah. And the other thing I want to talk about, so we can talk about that for a sec, but since Simba's still hitting targets and screen sharing, it would be good to start looking at a way forward to help people moving forward. Because if you're being successful this raid, this would be a good way to try to interest people a bit and get them to be able to participate. So
I'd also like a peek at your builds there, Simba, if you wouldn't mind. Later.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask, because it's at least that provides people a way to go forwards if they want to, and all that sort of thing. So
okay.
So since you're doing so well, did you find those tips and tricks to be helpful, or have you just found it by actually doing the targets?
Doing the targets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would venture to say, and this is definitely no cut on you whatsoever, but I would definitely say that spending the coin on the fleet before the raid happened definitely is what has helped her do really well too.
Yeah. But that's okay, because everyone plays differently. But It's how we can go
Right.
forward to.
That's why I said no cut on her. I'm just saying that, that's one of the big differing factors between her and so many other people that are doing the raid right now.
Definitely. And you can, I mean, it's also very hard because if you look at the leaderboards, you know, you've got, I think it's 10 people now over 1 billion points for no reason. Well, we know what the reason is, but it's, you know, this
Ego.
just shows that that people are successful. And, well, I think it's more than ego. Ego is a part of it, but we're also talking about.
Yeah, I wonder how many of them are working.
That's right. How many people are profiting off of other people not being able to do the raid and all that sort of thing? Because Simba was saying, you know, that she's prepping for her alliance and other people and stuff like that. So there's a big difference between doing that and making money off of other people. So, but you know, each to their own. That's what they do and how they play. So you're in a 100 target at the moment?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And probably when you finish.
It's interesting to watch how she does it like the exact opposite of what no, she doesn't. She actually does use the whole fleet. I wasn't sure because it looked like she was going to bring all the fleet down except for the flag there for a minute. That's why I said that.
No, I'm driving it so I can leave something for the person I'm prepping for.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it looked for a minute though like you were going to drive 4 of the boats and leave the flag behind. Is what I was saying.
Oh no, that was when I was trying to make it in full screen.
So yeah, so you've definitely got a very different strategy. So it's quite interesting to see you do it and see somebody else do it a different way. So
I would be betting that you have Hyper 30 on those, yeah.
I'd have to look.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask until you finish the target. But we also don't want to waste your crew, so because obviously
I'd have to renew it anyway. So
yeah, the crew makes a massive difference on these fleets. So
that's interesting. I see she has a missile defense system 3 on it. All right. Well, anyway, dead airspace.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing. But I mean, it is good to have somebody demoing the targets and.
Oh yeah, but we can still talk while that's going on.
Yeah, that's true. So it's interesting that you don't worry about the arcs, you don't worry about the smoke belches, you just basically smash through them.
Just kind of just blow and go.
Will it get stuck on auto?
Well, she's driving, so.
So you leaving that one arc weapon there, I guess, or what?
No, I'm leaving that building corner. The corner building.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Nothing will kill him.
It's interesting watching your frenzy there too. So you're, because you know when you're using one ship, you don't see the frenzy build and drop so quickly. But that's obviously a big component of what you're doing as well, is to keep the frenzy going, so you get the extra defenses. All right.
Sweet.
But I'm going to be a little bit nosy for a minute. How much coin have you thrown into this raid at this point?
About $150, which ain't bad.
$150, not coins.
Yeah. No, dollars.
Okay.
But that also includes finishing my last ship. I had like 4 days left on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big difference. So.
That makes sense.
Well,
I was guessing I'm $100 off from being comfortable. When I looked at my situation, I'm $100 in coins, US, and And I'm tried my best.
That $150 that you spent on the raid, including finishing your final ship, is that about normal for a first raid, or is that more?
It's usually about 100. I budget 100 every raid.
Okay, that's my question. You know, so this is more than usual.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's because I didn't have the last ship done.
Yes, and speaking as someone who doesn't have the flagship done, hey, I totally understand. Totally understand.
Yeah.
I'm grinding 60s because of it. I do like how you're able to keep your frenzy up for most of the time, whereas when I drive these targets, I creep around these targets, and outrange every single target. Like they're the gold turrets in here, and if I get too close to them, they kill me with short range ballistic fire, I guess.
The
I don't know.
Howies. Yeah,
Yeah.
I pretty much figure they're Howies.
You mean javelins?
No.
No.
Howies.
The gold ones. There's one
Okay,
right there.
aren't they actually called like flame belchers or something?
Yeah,
No.
but they just remind me of howitzers.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the actual real name for them. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing
that one right
here.
there. That gold one right there. If you get too close to it, it fires that short range cannon, and that just rips my ships apart.
Yeah, I personally, I would never get in the range of that thing firing on me because that's causing you tons of unnecessary damage.
But then again, the flamethrowers melt me too, so the only things which don't damage me are these little javelins.
No, they just like to try to tickle you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only thing that actually hits me on the Hydra fleet, and they don't hurt that bad in the 80s. But I can outrange everything else except the throwers, but the throwers, I can outrun them. I outrun them and then pop them off, and they're down when they're not shooting,
Let's
talk.
spend a little bit of time about talking what they could have done to salvage this raid. I know the first two things that jumped to my mind was, number one, they should have had that information and the tips and tricks out 3 weeks ago, at least. And number two is when they realized that that was kind of on them, that they failed to communicate that information. At that point, when they put those tips and tricks out, they should have started offering at least some Eradicator build tokens in the raid so people could adjust their fleets to their tips and tricks. I mean, putting their tips and tricks out and not giving you a way to implement that other than say, here, buy a bunch of tokens for more money than what you've already spent, to me was not the way to go about that. That just pissed people off even more. And from a player's perspective, totally seemed like an absolute coin grab.
And not only that, but some of the turrets in there, you can't even see them. And then my understanding was that if you drive in the range of a turret, it lets that salvo go, whether you're still in range of it or not. It lets it go. But here it saves it. So you go and you drive in, it shoots at you. You drive back out thinking, oh yeah, I've avoided it. You go back in and it keeps firing an additional 2 or 3 shots that it hadn't fired in the first salvo. That's just total money grab. That's what it smells to me like. It's a total money grab. Turrets you can't see. Turrets you can't see, and then they shoot at you when they shouldn't.
Yeah, I totally agree with turret. Like, make the turret bases like freaking fluorescent green or something. Something that shows out and stands out. Like, I know even when I'm fully zoomed in on my 42-inch monitor that is only like 2.5 feet, 3 feet away from me, I still have problems being able to see some of those turrets.
If I had to fix anything in this raid to start with, number one, there wouldn't be a lock store. having a lock store in the first raid of a cycle, we haven't had that for over a year. So I don't like that. I don't like the hit down penalty. I mean, I understand it, but I don't like it. And the 12-hour repair token apology.
That was a joke.
There you go. The reason I bring it up is I saw it on your screen there. That should have been 12 1-hour tokens, or even 4 3-hour tokens or something. One 12-hour token is completely useless, and
I got a couple I got to switch out.
And that, to me,
one 12-hour token says, hey, we know you are going to destroy your entire fleet when you try to hit one of these targets. You know what I mean?
What it tells me is, yes, we know you're going to destroy that, but in addition, it tells me the guy who's giving it out doesn't know how long our ships take to repair, because my 4-ship fleet repairs in under 6 hours. I bet that full 5 fleet repairs in under 7 hours. So you would be throwing so you'd be throwing away half of that 12-hour token. Yeah, it just tells me the guys who gave that apology don't know anything about this game and are just doing hand wavy things. Just throw them a 12-hour token. They'll be happy with that, right?
Well, it'd have been a lot better with 12 1-hour tokens.
Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
okay. I think, in all honesty, maybe they were just making sure that they could cover anybody's build, and they were just wanting to cover one fleet repair. In my opinion, in case you even hitting the wrong target, saying you think, because in this one, in all honesty, if you had the Eradicator, you went and hit the higher target than you thought, then you could survive. Because in the past, your 2-ship, 3-ship fleet, let's be honest, just sucks compared to 2-ship, 3-ship fleets in the past. And so that you're going to lose it right off the bat. And I think that's what this was, is here you go for that loss,
And see, I look at it a little bit differently. Yes, like 12 1-hour tokens would have been much better for the raid, but I'm already looking at like a VXP weekend, where when I can use that 12-hour repair token on a VXP weekend, I'm going to be very thankful.
Oh, I do hope we get to the VXP event. We will, right?
We will, yes.
Excellent.
We will.
Let's put a pin in that and get back to that.
Yeah.
I also have that ready to roll as well, but yeah, I know I'm the same way. It's like I'm not going to use that token at all for this raid. I've got no reason to use that token for this raid. You're much better off to leave it for the FM, VXP, something like that. So it's good that they did it, I guess, but it's not actually addressing anything. It's just it's the here you go, we'll do something to placate you, but it's not the right thing. But yeah,
right. If this was meant as an apology, well, it's a terrible apology.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm much more thankful for the damage reduction, because it just shows that at least they're paying attention to that, and I guess that's because they had the Great Australian team doing the start of the raid this time, so they could adjust. But it just goes to show that the damage was too high in the first place. But that's coming back to the testing. So all right, so
the Great Australian team will all be sacked when they come back in America to work for screwing down the damage.
Don't say that.
Sorry.
They did the right thing. It's the Americans who blew it in the first place. But anyway, never mind.
Well, let's be honest. The people that do the right thing at that company are the one that gets fired. Look at just Mike.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know if there's much more that we can say about the raid. So going forward,
hang on. I'd still like to hear from a couple other people what they think could have been done to salvage the raid.
Okay.
Because I think really only two people chimed in on that, I think.
Okay.
Well, to salvage the raid, make one target a little bit easier. Put some generic build tokens in that if you get 10 million points or whatever it is, you can buy a few build tokens, and you can then with those tokens fix, refit, or build or finish the rest of the hull that you had still building or needed to build or needed to change, so that you can then have 4 or 3 eradicators and a flag, or 2 and a flag, or whatever. Put some build tokens in that you can use on the current raid fleet. That's what I think could have saved a little bit of the raid as well.
A little bit better payout. I mean, it's 10 million in the top tier, and then the one right under it, tier 8, it's only 2.2. It'd been nice if that was 5. Maybe then what, the 60s pay out like 2.5 total. You know, I think that would have helped out with what everything cost. And then also on the tokens that they do offer for like the Hydras and stuff, I think those were overpriced for the older hulls. But then again, yes, offer the new hulls, the Eradicator tokens and stuff. You know, if you're going to offer, hey, the pro tips, you need to do these, you refit this, refit that. Well, you need to give them the tokens to like I said, be able to do that.
And like, I know from my perspective anyway, I'm not saying you need to give me the tokens.
No.
I will be more than willing to spend rating points to buy those tokens on which to, you know, do my refits to make things easier.
Yes, but make the tokens generic, so that if for example, for myself, I would have used the Eradicators. Yeah, someone lower may have used it for the Hydras. Make them generic.
I almost like, honestly, myself, I almost like them being a little bit more ship specific, because there again, if somebody's going to use those generic tokens on the Hydras, well, they're in a much better position to spend 2 million to get the hull specific ones than they would be to spend, like, you know, 4 or 5 million to get the generic ones to do the same thing. Is my thinking anyway.
Yeah, but that shouldn't mean they knew that they stuffed up, so that the tokens shouldn't be 4 or 5 million points. They should be less, and they should be so that everyone, you know, it should be something that's readily available to everyone, whether it's a higher or low level player. With the low level players, they need to spend. It costs them just as much to build a lower level fleet, but it costs, you know, the top guys to do their fleet. It may not quite cost as much, but it still costs coins, you know, and they should all be available to everyone.
Yes,
everybody gets a prize. You sure you're not a millennial?
No, I'm not one of them. No.
Obligatory
for that shit.
Obligatory mention that there was no dragon tokens again. That should be mentioned. I plan to mention that every time I can, because we really need some dragon tokens in this game.
Yeah, I know that's certainly where I'd be going is Eradicator tokens and dragon tokens. But one of the things that really irritated me too, that, you know, I was lucky enough to get the folded ferrite armor in the Crampopocalypse event, and you know, to see it now offered in this raid for 30 million points. If you don't have that, you're not getting those 30 million points to get that one piece of armor. It's been the most expensive armor that's ever been offered. You know, the charged ones are separate armors, but this is like one piece of armor, 30 million points. And if you're grinding 60s to get 30 million points for one piece of armor so you can progress further, you're not really progressing. It's not a smart way of doing things in my mind.
Yeah, that armor should have been about a third of the price of what it is.
I'd also like to mention it's 50% more expensive than the actual hull it goes on.
Exactly. I was absolutely gobsmacked when I saw the price that they wanted for that. It's just craziness. But you know, we're just mere players, so. but you will need it going forwards. You have really not a lot of choice, because if you want to be successful at these raids, I mean, you can get by with the, what is it, C1CR or CICR, whichever it is. You can manage with that, but I think the extra armor points for this armor is probably the most beneficial.
And quite honestly, when you get down to doing the number crunching, it's not only the extra armor; it's even the extra 2% defense on each thing makes a huge difference up at the top level of defenses. Like people still to this day, and I've tried to explain it many times on my defense calculator that I put out that people can get on the Crow's Nest page. I even went so far as you put the actual damage you can take based on how far out your decimal point goes. Like there's actually a fairly significant difference in how much damage you can take at 99.1% defense and say 99.4% defense. That those numbers are actually fairly significantly different. So every little bit of defense you can pile on at the moment matters, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
Also the 5,000 points of armor that you get per plate putting on. If you that would bring your ship from 100,000 to 120,000, and
yeah,
that makes you last difference. Longer.
Yeah, and everyone knows you need to last longer. It's just a basic rule in life. You might actually pay to bump that damage calculator on the page too, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. Should be in the files section, though. I think there's only like 4 things in the files section. It shouldn't be that freaking hard to find.
Okay. Cool. So is there anything else we want to talk about the raid, or shall we go on to the...
I could. I mean, I really would like to say that I'm so disgruntled that I'm to the point where I'm in my third event that I'm not able to compete. Not due to me. I'm here trying. Third in a row, without adequate compensation of any type. Totally left behind. Since Refactor 1, I was a pretty good PvP player. I think that what's changed now, just now that we've seen now, is that what's going to be required to start each cycle is the lead and possibly, we don't know, full fleet, or what we're looking at is $100 bill or 1,250 coins ahead of the position I'm in now for PvE. I'm not a PvE fan. I'm a PvP player. I play PvE only to continue to do PvP. I'm no longer able to do that because I can't compete in the PvE. So for me, my game is flat and it's a wrap until they can fix it. In all honesty, people are getting 5,000 coins and full fleets to come back. I'm flat. They're going to have to fix the game to get me to return. That's how I'm at.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could work out exactly what the issue is for you, Ross, because I don't know. I mean, to me, this map is a lot less crowded than what we've seen in some of the events, so it doesn't seem to be anywhere near as bad. I certainly haven't had any issues with lag. I mean, I had the game collapse on me on Friday night, but it came back up relatively quickly, so it wasn't too bad. So I'm really not sure what's causing your particular issue. It's an odd one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've been here quite over 7 years. Hung in there strong. I've got some nice equipment, nice internet, and my son's even an IT director. Came over, checked everything out for me. IT director. So when they fix it, I'll return, or when they offer me something great in compensation, but that's what it's going to take at this point.
It's just very odd that you're really the only person I've had that's having this issue.
No, I'm really not. Watchman was on the BPN show, Friday, and he's having exact issues. And he even showed his internet speed, and it was insane. And it had 0 ping and 300 upload, 200 upload, over 100 download. It was same issues. So I'm really not.
Okay, so 2 people out of like all these people.
Well, my point is it's the 3rd event in a row, 0 adequate compensation to this point. So that's how far I'm willing to continue, is my point. So I'm just not willing to continue any longer until they fix it, or make adequate compensation, like adequate compensation for people returning, like the 5,000 coins, multiple fleets. That's what kind of talk I'm talking about, because that's how far I feel behind after refactor.
And we all know that you like never spent a coin or anything like that. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. You would think they'd be looking after.
They don't care.
Spenders a bit better than non-spenders, but it doesn't look that way.
They do not care. I've posted in Discord, and the second I started having the issues, same issues still occurring. They do not care. The only adequate answers I ever get are for other players who step in and just send coins. You know, the fill in people. They really are helpful, because they know they play. You know what I mean? Some of them are even like, geez, the problems you have are unreal. Well, yeah, no kidding. Well, that's how I feel too.
Are you playing through Facebook or Kickside site?
Through Facebook.
And have you seen any difference try playing it through Kickside site?
No. I'm playing through the HQ app and my fleet's stuck. How about that? I mean, that's what I have to say on the whole thing.
Yeah.
I just want to backtrack a little bit. We were talking earlier about how much difference like a 0.6 or a 0.2% can make on the amount of damage you can absorb. Like right here, you can see if your defense is at 98.88, that's a bunch of other numbers behind that. You can absorb 10 million damage, 562,919 or whatever. But just by jumping it up 0.6%, you can go up to 21 million. So it pretty much doubles. And then just by going up by another 0.2%, you get another 9 million on top of that. So that's this is a visual representation of what I was trying to explain earlier, that those 0.2% that a lot of people have said for years, oh, once you get past up to a certain point, stacking defense doesn't matter again. Totally wrong. It really makes a huge difference. And I just wanted to show that visual representation of that so people got a feel for how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah, so what you're doing is adding in there all your defensive specials and all that
Correct.
sort of thing. So that's the B column, if you can see it. So that's adding in particular specials and armors and all that sort of thing. So I mean, it's crazy that we've got to this point, but it's been like this for quite a while, and they seem to want to continue that. No,
because they say they're going to do that change coming up. That's like the defense rating or whatever. But I'm not sure how well that's going to go. That seems to me like a change that nobody really asked for, or nobody was really consulted about. But whatever.
So we're sort of an up and down raid by the sounds of it. It's a bit all over the place. So
it's got a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. So I'm very curious going forwards as to what the next iteration of these targets are going to be like, whether they're just going to make them bigger or they're going to do masses of more turrets. It'll be interesting to see, because as Damnation said, we've got the other other part of the refactor coming up. So it'll.
Well, we have the big nerf coming. What on update Monday, Tuesday?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if these Reavers are smart, they'll just refit all the turrets in there to flamethrower turrets and win.
Don't give them any suggestions.
I don't know. The Reavers have been pretty smart through the history of this game. It's the Scourge that maybe aren't quite so sensible. But anyway, never mind. Cool. So has anyone got any plans going forward as to what they're going to do next time, or how they're going to dig themselves out of this crappy situation? What, that to me is probably the way to look trying to go forwards, because it is an up and down and crap experience for a lot of people. So how the hell are we going to get out of here?
My ships have 5 days of refits already per hull. And I've got to finish my flagship, obviously. So I will be working on this fleet all the way until the next raid. It looks like I will have to... the engine has to be changed. I'm going from Speed 6 to Radioactive Resistor. CL3 will be changing to CL4. It's got to be better. Nuclear Accelerator 1 on my ships will be going to Nuclear Accelerator 3, because I almost guarantee it's better. I have to find a way to put Hyper 30 on my ships, apparently. So that's another special. Apparently, I've got pretty much every special wrong on my ship. It's pretty amazing. So I've got to change all of that, finish my flagship. I have to yank off. I had a pack cannon on pack 2 on each of my ships. That's all got to go away because that experiment was a failure. Yeah,
that works. I guess in the 63s.
Yeah, but the nuclear explosion off of pack 2 is just about 300,000 damage. A regular round off of these Devastator cannons without building damage is 225 or 250,000 points of damage. So it's not helping me enough. I was hoping to get some Annihilator cannons. I got one. But no, they're all going back to Devastators.
No, I understand. Yeah, I was just thinking it might get you unstuck on a 63.
True. But so that's what my plan is. Approximately 1 month straight of refits to finish this fleet out.
Yeah, same here. I got 12 plates of armor to add. Several specials to change out. Plus I have to build the 4th hull that I haven't even started building yet, the 4th Eradicator. So this is probably more than a month, so I may have to even save all my, or use all my FM tokens just to get that done. And the thing is, if you put something on, then something else comes out in the God knows the bounty, or God knows what TLCs they bring out. If there's something else, then you're behind again. So I'm trying to delay it for as long as possible with the coins, and only build, not the coins, sorry, the tokens, only build it by standard build time until I've got no other choice but to use the tokens. That's the only way I can see myself being competitive in the next raid, or in part 2 of the part 3 series. So apart from that, it's just yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
I better turn my mic on and then I can talk. I know I've certainly got a lot of refitting to do too. I'm going to concentrate on the flag because that's only got 2 pieces of armor on it at the moment. So my specials, I only need to change 1 special, so I'm pretty reasonable with that. But none of the 4 normal eradicators that I've got don't have any armor on them at all, so I'm in exactly the same boat. You know, I might have 4 ships, but it doesn't mean that they're built. So I guess part of me says to not go too crazy about thinking what we have now. I'm with Cuddle and looking what we're going to get. But it is going to take all your FM tokens and everything to get ready for the next raid. If you're sort of, you know, along the lines of most of us that are, you know, getting by, you are going to need everything you've got to be able to do the next raid. And I would even forget about the Shrike completely, because, well, I just don't see that we're ever going to get time to build them, or what you're going to have to give up instead to start building them. I can see the advantage of having 1 or 2 with these targets, but I just can't see me being able to build them. So it's a bit of a crappy situation. But
my advice is this. My advice is get your Eradicator flagship done. Totally done. That should be your first focus. Then move on and try to, at bare minimum, get a second one totally done. A second regular Eradicator totally done. That should be your bare minimum goal for the next raid cycle, because I'm looking at it this way. If I can do this raid target, the raid targets we currently have right now with just the flagship, I expect the next raid to be probably twice as hard, so I'll probably need twice as many boats. You know, I mean, that logic kind of seems to make sense to me. So, you know, I mean, yes, I think by all means you should get as far as you can on completing that fleet, but getting your flagship totally done should be your #1 priority, and then just complete fully each boat after that in succession. Like, make sure you have 4 blank hulls, because you need the buffs that the hulls give, whether they're in combat or not. And then instead of like trying to go through and put all your weapons on each boat, and then all your specials on each boat, and then all your armors on each boat, like finish them one by one. You know, do your ship #2 completely, then do your ship #3 completely, and move on and progress in that fashion. Would be my best advice.
Yeah, I've already started my skeletons for the Shrikes.
And if you do have that, I mean, I'm hoping to have my fleet fixed by the next raid, because then if you go by the damnation method, if I'm correct, I would have to save up the next lots of tokens and chests and whatnot, because in the third raid we're going to get the new hull for the next raid that we most likely going to be you know. So
right, you have after this raid you have 3 FMs worth of tokens, plus the raw time all the way to the second raid. Then after that raid you have 1 more FM worth of tokens, which you can spend willy-nilly. And then you have to save up the next 2 weeks of FM tokens, 1 in chests and 1 in raw token form, to take the maximum amount of tokens into the hull raid, so you can get a jump on the next hull. There is no time in here to even look at the Shrikes.
You have to give the escalation weapons also. I mean, don't forget, those are coming.
Well, we have seen them.
Yeah.
I was saying, they're here already.
Yeah, that's the Annihilator Cannon and the stupid launcher.
Yeah.
The Annihilator Cannon looks really good. 2-second stun on that. That looks really good. The other one, the launcher, just adds 2% to ballistic and radioactive, and I know that makes a big difference, but I still would prefer a stun or a better effect on it.
Well, here's the problem with the launcher, and I mean, I have to get this like solidly, firmly confirmed by Kix, but it's looking to be 95% sure at this point that the limited launcher doesn't share stacks with the launcher that you buy in the raid, because they have 2 separate shockwave values, and with having to get 1,200 stacks for a shockwave to go off right now. Mixing your launchers, unless you're going to have a full fleet of strikes done, and have some of, enough launchers on each one, I definitely don't recommend mixing them, because you're actually decreasing your ability to get to your maximum stacks quickly and efficiently. Now, if you end up with 6 of the limited guys and you can make one of your hulls with nothing but the limited turrets or limited launchers, that's one thing. But if you only got 2 limiteds, don't mix them in with the regular ones, because you're actually hurting yourself as opposed to helping yourself.
Could it be an option there that you have one lot of launches on one hull and the other lot of launches on the other, if that makes sense? So you're
you could absolutely do that, but that's what I'm saying. Unless you get to the point where you're going to have enough of them to be able to get the stacks that you need to get to the boom before you actually kill the turret, you're not really helping yourself much by putting more.
Yeah, because that was my feeling that I wasn't expressing when we were talking about it, that they are going to be separate and they're not all going to stack together. So, yeah.
Well, that means I wouldn't use them. I just use the standard ones because they have a bigger kaboom, and I want to get to that 25 million kaboom faster.
Yeah, we like the kaboom. Kaboom's always good.
Okay.
That actually leads me to something else interesting a little bit that I kind of want to touch on real quick. I'm sorry, RB, I'm kind of taking over your show.
It's your show, mate.
Well, I know, but I usually like to let you do Saturdays, but every now and then I have a list of things I want to talk about. What do you guys think about turning the Eradicator into a launcher fleet? Cuddle and I have kind of been talking about that a little bit ago.
I actually have an ally mate who has done that. He has done that to one Eradicator and has mounted 6 of the launchers, filled it up with launchers, all the appropriate launcher specials, and is driving it around.
How's that working?
The problem is he is a low-level grinder, so he's using it to vaporize 60s with it, so I can't tell you how cool it is, except for the fact that it shoots over mountains. And he tells me that it takes 5 volleys to get a nuclear detonation off of one ship.
Right. And a lot of that can depend on your build, too. I don't know what specials he has on it.
Right.
But I was looking at it a little bit, and I know the best combination of specials I think I came up with was the new special that gives you the 5 times or times 5 supercharge. And then I also added interception system on there, which gives you 3 times 3 supercharge, and it also gives you times 3 launcher supercharge. So I don't know if they stack or not. There's some debate that's going on about that right now. But then and I added on the what was the special that we got with the Hydra that gave you +2 multi-shot and increase your shockwave damage?
Multiplex.
Yeah, that's right. I think with the math I was doing, it was with using those specials, it was 3 rounds. I think would get you the shockwave. Then I think.
Right. So, I mean, he did that on his own without, he heard me talk about it in Alliance chat to somebody else, and he was like, and did it by himself. And
right.
And the other problem is he's in Sector 6, so I can't get a video of it. So I can't even watch.
I mean, I know I'm definitely intrigued by it, because the main thing I don't like about my Eradicators is the fact that they have to go around mountains to get into the proper place to be able to kill shit. And if I can put launchers on them and negate that, oh my gosh. Because I mean, the Hydras are so much fun to use in those targets, because you don't have to worry about mountains at all. Because you just lop up over the mountains. And if I can get my Eradicators to do the same thing, good, great, googly muggly.
Now, the question then, what if you don't need an entire fleet of Eradicators with launchers? What if you only could put in 1 Eradicator with launchers into your Eradicator fleet and then hide behind the mountains? Because it really doesn't matter. If they can't shoot you, it really doesn't matter how long it takes to actually kill the thing now, does it?
True.
And, firepower-wise with the regular cannons, I mean, you lose 1 ship's worth, but I don't know.
This fleet right here, there's 11 of the new launchers on here. And I'm running with the launcher system, which has the ×6 and ×6. And like you said, he had 6 on his. This is 11, almost twice as many. So this is what happens.
Yeah, looks good.
There we go. Now we can see. So you went all the way to 11, Shane?
All the way to 11. There's 3 on. I've only got 3 regular Hydras. So there's 3 on each one of them. And then I've only got 2 on the flagship.
And this is an 81 target you're in.
Yeah.
Did you lose? Is this a complete refit for you, or did you run out of tokens?
No, I had to buy the tokens in order to do the launcher refit. But all I did is I had 17s on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I took all of those off and I put on the 3 of those. Everything else is the same. I was running the launcher system paired with the multiplex y'all just mentioned a while ago.
If you get more tokens, would you do more refits?
The only thing I could refit on here that I could do anything with is take one of the C1 CRs off and put on a folded ferrite. But I mean, it's kind of inconsequential. Why even waste the time doing that?
Okay.
As far as that goes, I mean, that's the only thing I could do weight wise. That's the only thing I could add to it.
I was going to say, with those new launches, you do run into weight issues pretty quickly, but
the flagship, since it's running a CL alloy 3 as well, it's a little heavier than everybody else, so it's still got 117 left on it, you know, but it's got 2 of the new launchers.
It's certainly a viable, something very interesting for a smaller player that doesn't have eradicators, for sure.
Well, the one thing I was thinking about, see, the hull here has 100% reload on it. So with the eradicators, I was thinking the new special would be better. The one that has the ×5 multi thing. If they don't stack and everything, and it's just ×6 on these, and then it's just ×5 on them, you get the same combat speed multiplier, but then you get the 75% reload, which the eradicator doesn't have, of course. But this hull has 100% reload. So I figured it would be comparable to this as far as using that other different special.
And on an eradicator fleet, you will be able to get on more guns because your ships.
Yeah, it would definitely be. The eradicator would be this fleet, you know, but on steroids, I think.
And just be aware too, just like Ninja Penguin pointed out in chat, the Kickside can always like determine X-ray that's like, okay, well, we're gonna lock Hydras out of this set now too. So that's something to be aware of. And just keep in mind that is a possibility that it could happen. I certainly hope not, and I personally don't foresee it, but there's a lot of things that happen in this game that I don't foresee. So
yeah, well, that's an option this time. I mean, the other thing too is that they might leave these targets in as a, you know, like a blitz target next time or something too. So there's all sorts of things that can happen. But
yeah, I mean, generally, it seems like the second tier down, they don't jack with a whole lot after it gets determined. It's just like usually the top tier that they like to tinker with.
Yeah. The other good thing too, that if you did go for launches on an eradicator, you wouldn't have to worry about those cavitation fields or anything like that. So you can just drive around them and not have any, you know, issues like you would with the Shrikes. Because I'm dubious about that fleet, so it's probably good that I'm not going to get the opportunity to build it anyway. So yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely like to see that would be great for, you know, one of those whales who has a lot of money to blow on the game to just try out and see, because I know I personally would want to try the refit and then find out, oh, that was a bad idea, because there's no way I'd have time to switch it back.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
why I think if you did one ship, it might come in handy to, like Cuddle said, to be able to shoot over when you need to. So
yeah, but I mean, number-wise, it looks solid, because it's not like the only thing the Shrike-Hull is adding is actual radioactive damage from what I saw, really. And you're not relying on the radioactive damage itself to kill the turrets. What you're relying on is the boom.
yes, yeah. Watch out for that cargo, Shane. It was going to get you there.
Yeah.
I did that yesterday. I went for a target, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I ended up in a 75 elite. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm sure that's not what I clicked. Panic.
You slipped in the net, motherfucker.
Yeah.
One little piece of information I'd like to put out about the eradicators. The moment you have 2 folded armor on an eradicator, it can do the 67 base part targets for instant on the map repair.
Sweet.
So that replaces your Hydras and your Buccaneers as base parts fleets if you're still using them, or if you have any players who have a hard time getting base parts. Every single one of the eradicators they get done, they can use to auto 67s. At the best, you can have 5 of them at a time running around. That's a lot of base parts. That should allow people to fix up their bases very, very quickly.
You can also do a 103.
With one eradicator?
No, with a full fleet.
All right. Well,
I was doing it with 4, but base repair.
90% of the people watching the show don't have a full fleet, though.
Yeah. So that's good advice, because I'm certainly, I've done so much to my Hydras now that I'll never be able to use them for base parts, and I was going to, be relying on my bucks to do it. So it's good to know, because I'm one of those that's quite happy to just hit the lower targets and watch it add up, because it does add up very quickly. So it's really not that much of a
If you've got a
grind.
full set of Buccaneers, you can still do the 68 blitz target for 1 minute and 20 seconds map repair. So
Yeah,
True.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
this is one eradicator takes care of it.
yeah.
And unfortunately for
So
me,
it will certainly add
that
up.
means my Buccaneers are also, have edged right up to the recycling bin, because that was the only thing they did well, was base part targets.
ooh, that's a nasty word, recycling bin.
Oh, I know. That the Hydras get to live, as we see now, exactly why the Hydras get to live. But I don't see anybody doing this with Buccaneers.
You can do the 40s with bucks.
That is
What's that extra?
true.
That brings me to another point.
Enough raid points to buy a prize before I turn 60.
Yeah.
Just
True.
saying. Just saying.
Before I turn 41. Shit.
True story here. For this raid, I built 5 Punishers with the free Punisher tokens I collect out of the FM. And I did use all the latest tech and all that, and I built them to the best of my ability, and they could do 41s and 43s also. So, I mean, they didn't do it great. They did for about an hour and a half of damage, but they still did it with Punishers. So
That's sad.
I know, see, and that's why the Buccaneers, I'm so close to mulching them.
I'm gonna
Jane.
I'm gonna move this right along real quick, because we've already been on here for an hour and a half, and I still got 2 things I know we definitely want to cover, and I have something I need to do as well. So we kind of need to get a move on. One thing I myself wanted to touch on again was the Cannonballer campaign. Does anybody else think that's stupid?
I was just about to say that. Who the hell? What drugs were they on when they put that on out?
I mean, the only thing it can do is 40s, and to me, it still blows my mind that you need a fleet that came out after the Cannoneers in order to win the Cannoneers. How is having to use a newer fleet to win an older fleet? How in anybody's definition of progression does that fit?
I mean, damn, even when Texai sold them, they sucked.
So I don't know. That's just personally, that's a little pet peeve of mine. That campaign, that TLC. I'm just like, what? You know, as I said on the Wednesday show with my little image, kicks eye, you blockhead. You know. So, and then the last thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's doing exactly what they want. It's catering to the 1%, so the 1% can have more than they've already got. So that's the model they're using at the moment. So
No.
Wrong campaign.
We're not talking about the co-op.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're
I've
right.
already done the co-op.
Yep, sorry.
Even though they tried to say that the co-op was the Cannonballer with that image that they popped up, that had all the information for the co-op had Cannonballer at the top.
Yep, my apologies. I was getting
that's fine. And then the last thing I want to talk about quickly is the BP next week.
All right, well, I've got that ready to go, so you can, if you want, put me on present.
And if I don't want?
Well, okay, don't. Go for it.
You're already
All right. So
how you help if you share screen though?
Oh yeah, what a concept. All right. Down we go. All right. Sorry about that.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was having acid flashback there for a minute with all those windows going downwards.
It's always a good look, isn't it? All right. So on Monday, they're doing the update notes. So this is the one that does the balance update to correct live PvP issues. So forget about your rages and malices, etc. The VXP Battleground and several campaign reruns. So I'm interested to see whether the campaign reruns include Hydra's Hollow, because that would be very helpful for people. Yep. So about there is probably where we want to start talking. So we'll have the Forsaken mission, so expect escalation, weapons, and new prizes. But the big one is the Battleground VXP, which will start on Friday. So anyone want to talk about it?
So basically, I guess this replaces VXP weekend, and now it's turned into a whole little event based around VXP, because there was no holiday in January for them to be like, oh, look, here's your fourth monthly raid without hack repair for no real reason other than it's a holiday. So now it's just VXP weekend has now become a whole event unto itself to put pressure on you to spend.
For me, the problems here are the leaderboard prizes and obviously the reward store. The leaderboard prizes tells me it's going to have both individual leaderboard and alliance leaderboards, and that's going to bring out the big fish. And what could possibly be in the reward store?
A hat.
Oh God.
A t-shirt.
Could it be another 30 days of Shrike tokens like they got on the last event? I mean, that was the top leaderboard. That was the top prize for the individual person on the Krampus event, was 30 days of Shrike tokens. I don't know what the...
It's interesting because I was thinking... Go on.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to give my real brief synopsis on this real quick. You know, if you guys are that far into Twilight on this game that you need to constantly turn every single event into squeezing the top leaderboard people who spend a lot of money out of their cash to get points, and you're going to cater these events just for them and nobody else really, just shut the fucking game down and save us all a bunch of headaches if you're that far into fucking Twilight.
No kidding. No, I'm not in there at all. These people, this is a company, they can't even do pathing. They can't even do testing in 7 years. In all honesty, there's no secret motive behind anything, and they don't even know what's going on, in my opinion. You gotta be kidding. they're refactoring quarterly. That just tells you right there. They have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, I mean, even though this doesn't show it, the forum talks about it a little bit more, and Cuddle certainly touched on it about the leaderboard prizes. So I was trying to work out how they're going to do that. And so it's either going, well, I don't know for sure, but so is the leaderboard going to reflect how much VXP we've put on ships? I don't understand how it's going to work. So if that's the case, it's like, well, if you don't have very many ships to rank, how are you going to participate in that? So I don't understand how this is going to work at all. So hopefully somebody there does, but I can't say I'm particularly confident. And if it is catering to the people that have the 30 days worth of strike tokens, well, you're only benefiting them even more. So I don't. Yeah,
my guess, and I have no inside information about this at all, but my guess would be it's not really going to be based on the VXP that you gain. It's going to be the normal VXP target. So you'll be able to go out and gain VXP just like normal. But the points you will gain will probably be based off of perhaps like how many of those targets you actually kill. You know, it won't be based around your VXP, but more like, you know, just like any other event that we always have, based around how many that you kill, and you get points, so many points for killing one, blah 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 blah. So that's in their minds, they're killing two birds with one stone. Here's your VXP weekend, and we can make an event out of these exact same targets as well.
See, the way I see this is that you can use a fleet. Let's just say it's the Razors. You use your Razors and you go and you get your VXP tokens that you can then use on the ships or on the hulls that you need to add VXP to. So it may not even have anything to do with that you have to take Eradicators in there. You might be Manicores, who knows? But that's how I see it. I don't think it's the fleet that you need to get VXP for that you need to take in there. I think you will get VXP tokens that you can buy with the points that you earn from them. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And I also don't have any insider information.
Well, I think you're on the complete wrong track there, because the VXP weekend, we use the ships that we're using on the targets that we're using. So there would be no reason to go backwards to do any of that. Does that make sense? So it's like, you know, because the issue with VXP was that there's no VXP in the building, so they addressed that by putting the ships in there, the Reaver Hulks, which was awesome. So this is probably the next version of that we're still going to be running around on those 88s and 52s, or, you know, whether they're these targets from this particular raid, and we're going to be using those to get the VXP or get the points or whatever it is that we need to get the leaderboard prizes, which I would expect to be the you know, the shards and all that sort of thing for the weapons that are in there now. So the escalation weapons will get shards from that as well.
Well, let's follow that down the rabbit hole. If it is like you say there, then only the Eradicators are going to work. Well, the Hydra too, I suppose. But that means if you have to... Right, but if you have to rank Conqueror hulls, it's just a suicide fest for them.
Yeah.
Well,
my breachers did okay hitting the target.
I was going to say, but Suicide and the Conqueror hulls would really be no different than what it would have been on a normal VXP weekend anyway.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I was able to take out a few targets with the breachers and stuff, doing all that kind of stuff. But they're kind of taking some of my niches away from me. I won't be able to use the malice, you know, or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Or if anybody has any other fleets they have to raise to rank, like some people might have to catch up on bat rays or dragons, perhaps. I don't know.
Maybe as far as points for the event, you know, you'll get minimal points for the ships, but you'll get a max amount of points for taking out the whole target, the buildings and everything. This will incentivize people to actually take out the targets as opposed to just going in there and ripping the ships out. I don't know.
Hey,
yes, you
now
know.
that would be good. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That would be really good.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
It's coming from the Ripper.
Ooh, what?
Didn't we say that was the arsehole move? But anyway.
I didn't hear that. No, wasn't aware of that.
All right. Well, all right. So we've been going for a while. So is there anything else that anyone wants to close on? And we can put this baby to bed and knock it on the head.
I just got one thing to say. That's the third time I'm going to say it now. Fuck you, Kicks.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I know, right? You might have to put a mute on that man, but anyway.
Or beat
right,
out.
All right. So if anyone needs any points, see Simba. I'm not sure what sector she's in, but she's going to prep for the whole game that needs it. I'm sure I heard her say that before. So yeah, look her up.
Wow.
And there goes the bus. No,
oh my God.
I'm just being silly. Cool. All right. Well, good luck with it then. I guess if no one else wants to add anything, hopefully your raid's okay. We don't have that much longer because it's ending at a poxy time, but you know, we didn't really talk about that. But,
21 hours and 23 minutes.
They suck. They need to extend.
Alpha sector.
Yeah,
I
it's
still
not
gotta
a.
get 23 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this time, but it is what it is.
We're out of here. I'm pulling the plug.
All right.
Pull it.
Good luck, everyone.
Thanks for coming out and watching, everybody. As always, give us a like, a subscribe, all that fun stuff. Add your friends to the page. If you haven't already, shame on you. And we are out of here. Later.
Laters.
Later.